What if one of the best guides to modern friendship wasn't some psychologist or a self-help guru, but a Roman official from the 4th century? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But it turns out timeless wisdom can pop up in the most unexpected places. And this guy offers some incredible clarity on one of the most important relationships in our lives. Okay, let's dive into this. So let's start with a really tough question. Think about it. When is it right to betray a friend? It's a situation that feels like it's straight out of a movie. Your friend is doing something wrong, maybe even illegal. Do you protect them, or do you do what's right? It's just a gut-wrenching dilemma that pits loyalty against virtue. And the person with a surprisingly powerful answer to this question is a man named Ambrose. He was a big-shot politician in the Roman Empire who, in a wild twist of fate, became a bishop completely by accident. Yeah, you heard that right. And his unlikely journey gave him a totally unique perspective on what friendship really is. So, how on earth does a respected governor become a bishop by accident? I mean, the story is almost unbelievable, and it's absolutely key to understanding his whole philosophy. Okay, get this. Ambrose is in Milan, and his job is to stop a riot between two Christian groups fighting over who their next bishop should be. As he's trying to calm everyone down, some kid in the crowd yells, "Ambrose for bishop!" And suddenly, the whole crowd starts chanting it. He literally tries to run away and hide, but they find him. And here's the real kicker. He wasn't even baptized yet. So they rush him through all the ceremonies, and just like that, he's made a bishop, a job he never, ever wanted. So, after getting thrown into this new life, Ambrose just dedicates himself to it. He hits the books and quickly becomes one of the sharpest thinkers of his time. And that led him to tackle some of the toughest questions out there, like the ultimate test of friendship. And this brings us right back to our core problem. On one hand, you've got your duty to your friend, to be loyal, to have their back. But on the other hand, you've got this higher duty to virtue, to truth, maybe to God or your country. So what do you do when those two things are in a head-on collision? Ambrose's answer was crystal clear. No gray areas, no hesitation. His guiding principle was super simple. Virtue always, always comes first. For him, it wasn't even a debate. Yeah, friendship is a virtue, but it can never, ever be an excuse to abandon virtue itself. Now, here's where he gets really brilliant. He makes this crucial distinction. He points out that the Bible warns you against bearing false witness against someone. It doesn't say anything about bearing true witness. So think about it. If your friend has committed a crime, telling the truth isn't a betrayal of your friendship. It's actually an affirmation of a higher virtue. That's a game changer. And this idea, well, it was part of a much bigger, totally revolutionary shift in how people thought about friendship. Ambrose was basically building a whole new model from the ground up. See, in the old Roman world, guys like the philosopher Cicero said that real friendship could only exist between social equals. It was all about mutual benefit between people in the same class. But Ambrose, he completely flipped that on its head. He argued that in this new Christian worldview, God calls everyone friend, and that just erases all those differences in class and wealth. For Ambrose, true friendship is modeled on the divine. Just like a superior God becomes equal to humanity, a true friend practices humility. And just as Jesus shared his secrets with his friends, true friends open their hearts to each other, no holding back. It's all about equality and a kind of radical vulnerability. Okay, so with this new foundation, what does being a true friend actually look like in practice? Ambrose gives us a surprisingly modern, really actionable guide. Let's go back to that problem of a friend doing something wrong. Ambrose lays out a clear two-step process. First, you pull them aside privately. You confront them, but with honesty and love, away from everybody else. But, and this is a big but, if they refuse to listen, your duty then requires you to address the problem openly. It's a clear progression from private care to public accountability. And to really drive this point home, Ambrose uses this killer quote from Proverbs. A true friend is willing to tell you a hard truth that might wound you a little because it's for your own good. An enemy or a fake friend will just flatter you with kisses while you're heading straight for disaster. So that honest, even painful criticism, that's an act of profound friendship. And that duty of honest correction is just one piece of a bigger puzzle. A steadfast friend doesn't bail when things get tough. They offer advice, they share in your sorrow, and they're willing to go through hard times for you. It's a relationship built on being solid and having deep trust, not just changing your mind whenever you feel like it. And Ambrose makes this really sharp observation here that feels like it could have been written yesterday. He says friendship is a virtue, not a business deal. It's not about what you can get from someone. And this, he says, is why the poor often have more genuine friends than the rich, whose relationships can get all tangled up in flattery and self-interest. To show the real-world consequences of these ideas, Ambrose points to a famous story, the clash between King Saul and the future King David. This becomes his ultimate test case. The difference between these two leaders could not be more stark. On one side, you've got Saul, a king who rules through fear and intimidation. On the other side, you've got David, who builds his influence not on power, but on love and genuine friendship. Two men, two totally different ways of dealing with people. So what was the result? Well, David's ability to be a true friend earned him this fierce loyalty. Ambrose points out that people saw what a great friend he was, and they flocked to support him, even when it was super dangerous. Parents loved him more than their own kids. His ability to love and be a friend was literally the foundation of his success. And Saul? Completely different story. He inspired zero real loyalty. His rule was brittle, built on a foundation of fear that just couldn't last. The moment the pressure was on, his support crumbled, and he totally failed. Ambrose just sums it all up perfectly with this powerful insight. Fear can work for a little while. It can keep people in line for a bit, but it's not a permanent guard. Affection, love, true friendship, that's what creates loyalty and confidence that actually lasts. So, the ultimate takeaway from this accidental bishop is actually pretty profound. Real, lasting relationships, whether it's between two people or a leader and their followers, they have to be built on a foundation of love, a commitment to virtue, and the humility to see each other as equals. Anything else is just temporary and, well, it's probably going to fail. And all of this leaves us with a final question to think about. When you look at the most important relationships in your own life, what are they really built on? Is it convenience, mutual advantage, or is it something deeper, a shared commitment to virtue, honesty, and that steadfast love? Ambrose's ancient wisdom really challenges us to find out.